A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu. Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me, ask Eliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything.
Take about 400 years to defrost that.
Whoa, she's talking about my ring.
What?
She's talking about, I'm letting them know. You guys, that person laughing with me right now is none other than comedy great, comedy legend. And for a lot of you youngsters, you may have read her New York Times article. You didn't write it, but it's about you.
It was about me?
It was about you.
Yeah.
Elayne Boosler, you guys.
Yay!
You know, I don't get a lot. I try not to do a lot of comics because so many podcasts
really?
are comics with comics.
Oh.
But in my life, I don't get the privilege of being around women who have come before me.
Well, because we're all passing each other on the road.
And a lot of women are really shitty to other women.
Really?
You gave
That
me a ride
stinks.
home.
I did.
From the Comedy Store
And
one
I didn't
time.
even charge you too much.
I got to keep my clothes
You
on.
got to give me clothes on, and I think it was like a 20. I asked you for a 20.
You did. And I had never, honestly, no woman had ever taken the time. Because any woman is usually my peer, you know, or someone
right,
my age.
Right, you're both at the same kind of level
Yeah.
of going where you're going.
And no woman-
Except that no one's at your level now. You beat everybody out.
See, you
Hooray
hear that?
for you.
You hear that?
Three-pointer basket.
But you were so nice, and you were so not what I'd come to expect from, not just people, but just in comedy. And, you know, I'm nice to people, whatever, but it was so cool. You have no idea how much it meant to me.
Wow, I'm so glad that it happened then.
Yeah, that you took the time.
Well, of course.
And you said to me, you gave me this piece of advice. Now, part of it is that I happen to remember it because I'm not great at remembering things. But we sat in your car. It's a Mercedes outside of my house.
It's a Beamer.
It's a Beamer. And you just said something. We just talked about different comics and like that. But you just said you never want to be first. I remember you said this to me in terms of like you don't ever want to be the one that people, I guess, get tired of first.
It's not get tired of. You don't want to be first because you spend your entire life breaking the door down and then it's open, but you did it and you're dead because
Right.
there was so much resentment that you dared to do it. So, I mean, I was
You're
pretty
talking
much
about yourself
first.
for
Yeah.
sure, right.
So the whole world has trod over me, but I do have a satisfaction in knowing that I got to open that door.
First comedy special, first hour special for
which
a
I
woman.
had to pay for, and I didn't have credit cards, and
Right.
it was just ridiculous amount of rejection for 3 years
Yeah.
until all the guys were on their second cable special. This is way back in '85, before most of you listening were born, and and you know I was first, and it did open the door, and that's what all the papers wrote about. You know, and it's great that everyone. But I mean, Medgar Evers was before Martin Luther King, and he got shot too.
Right.
But he was first, and you know
Yeah.
it takes the first one to kind of get it open, get the consciousness out there, and then the people come next and do a good job.
And it's interesting because
great.
you say you don't want him first, but you can't help it. Like at that time, that's what you were doing, and no one was going to stop you. It just happened to be that you
just happened to be.
And it's interesting because every couple of years we forget that there are women who have done that, and then whatever woman is being celebrated now, it's like, oh, I can't believe she's breaking down barriers. It's
It
like,
was so funny. Someone tweeted the other day, this girl, I don't know her, I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way, but she tweeted, well, last night I did it. I proved that you could be smoking hot, sexy, and funny too at the Comedy Store. And
Ooh.
and a guy wrote, sorry, hun, Elayne Boosler did that 40 years ago.
Whoa.
Try again. I didn't even know this guy. guy, but I love that it is in the consciousness that, you didn't write the first McDonald's joke. You didn't invent the wheel.
You're not the first pretty girl to tell a joke.
Exactly. You're not the first person to paint a woman with 3 eyes on the side of her head because you wanted her to divorce you. Picasso was a bitch. But, I'm just saying everyone came before. Don't you think his wives always knew when he was going to leave them? Because he painted these gorgeous portraits and then all of a sudden when he was getting tired of them, there'd be 3 eyes on one side. Suddenly the nose was in the back and she went, "That's how you see me now."
When the nose was in the back, I know it was over.
That's it. It was over. My nose was in the back.
Like a 14-year-old.
That was it.
Yeah, but you know what? That also the lack of self-awareness. Because when you're younger, you always think like, I'm doing this. No, and I honestly...
Well, you have to think that.
You have to think that.
You need that courage.
And as you get older, ignorance becomes a choice. But when you're younger, I didn't grow up watching stand-up, so I kind of was just like, I'm just doing this.
What a great sentence. Ignorance becomes a choice. It's absolutely true. We're so stupid when we're starting out because we would never go forward if we knew how bad it was.
No fear.
So, God protects innocence and that's who we are. But then it's time to figure it out. And unfortunately, if you want to be an artist, you go to a museum, you go, oh my God, Picasso, Braque, Monet. That's how good you can be.
That's how it got to where art is now.
That's right.
They did that.
Yes.
Someone did that before them.
And it's there to show you, okay, I see all that, now I know what to do in my way. With comedy, there's nowhere to go. It's like, they stop putting on the older comics so you don't see us on TV. And it's like people go, well, I think I'll write this bit. And you go, that bit's been, been done.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate that there's no place to go celebrate that. Acting, you watch movies. But it's okay. I mean, it also gives you a voice if you take the time to find out what you're thinking. I'm sorry to hear that women in your circle aren't nice to each other.
Oh, no. Let me be clear. It was when you are headlining, as you know, it's a solo sport.
Right, it's solo.
So it wasn't, I've come in contact with a couple of big female comedians who were not that nice, but honestly, it's out of fear.
Well,
it's out of fear.
That is absolutely inexcusable.
But also, I've come in contact with plenty of comics in general
who
that
are
dickheads.
It's
when someone's kind to you, I'm like, oh, that means you're secure. When a woman is rude to me, I'm like, oh, you smell me coming.
But they smell you coming. But the point is, you're not in competition with anyone. I'm not in competition with anyone. Even someone who's doing exactly what I do. When I was doing it, I mean, the only person you compete with is yourself for real. It's not like acting where there's one job. They go, we need a blonde who's 5'10" with a Russian accent, and 1,000 actresses come up, and they have to get that part, and that's the end of the part. I mean, comedy is 52 weeks a year, 1,000 comics a night across the country. Who the hell are you competing with? There's so much work.
There, especially now, which is interesting. We're going to get into this. This is a first question, especially now with all the outlets for comedy. You could be a YouTube star with 1 billion followers. I've never heard of you, but you make $1 million.
And you're on Dancing with the Stars and you make $1 million.
Exactly.
I filled up my tank, unlighted, and they threw a comic in my back seat. I couldn't believe it. They're just everywhere.
It's unleaded.
Unlighted.
Fall has fallen, winter is on its way, the days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Eliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Eliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Eliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Eliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Eliza.
The question for you, so here's the first question we have.
There's questions? I didn't
So many
study.
questions.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm just going to ask this even though we already went over it, but I did
Okay.
save this question, but then I surreptitiously stole this person's question and stuck it into what I was saying to you.
At least you admitted your crime.
Yeah, I plagiarized this. Sam_Sid_CatSatPlay. What was it like to be the first woman to get a 1-hour special? What kind of pressures were put on you? And this is a multi-pronged question. Were there some kind of expectation about your comedy as a woman or because of your relationship with Andy? Do you want to take that in parts?
I'll just keep, make it short and interesting.
Make it
I
about
hope.
you.
Basically, I never think in terms of woman, because if I did, I would just be talking to 3 people at a luncheon, to raise money for uterine extraction. I never, the more you isolate yourself, and I talk to men all day. Why would I stop talking to half the population at night at work?
Right.
So I've always been 50-50 on the fans. Yeah. I couldn't get a special. There were no expectations. They just kept saying, no one wants to see a woman do an hour. In those days, and I have all the yellowed reviews to prove it, I was doing 2.5 hours every single night on the road. And the reviews would always say, this is the longest and best show we've ever had. Right. And then I'd walk into HBO and Showtime, and they go, no one wants to see a woman do an hour. Yeah. And I fought for 3 years. I couldn't get it. I met a filmmaker, and we started dating and living together. And he said, I can do this for you, but we'll have to get everybody to take their money after. So we did the most amazing special, Party of One. It really did, burn up the joint. And they still wouldn't buy it from us. And I said, see, I told you it was personal, because I had, pardon the expression, Bill Cosby on the show. We did the first...
Pardon the expression?
Well, what do you...
Yeah.
Yeah, hello. But the thing was, we were like the first to do a big production before the stand-up special, just because they kept rejecting me. He said, you better get some stars on here.
This was in the New York Times article.
So they can't say no, yeah.
Right.
So Cosby, he was the top of his game then, just brought NBC back with his sitcom. David Letterman had never stepped outside his new show. He was on it, a lot of hip
to give
people.
it quote-unquote credibility.
Oh,
these men like
right,
it, therefore.
Street cred, exactly. Tom Waits, we were friends. He gave me his music. I had Brother Theodore look him up, and Larry Bud Millman look him up, and it was the hippest show. Dr. Ruth, the first year of her fame. The show was a no-brainer. And 12 years I had been doing stand-up, so each one of those jokes was a diamond on a piece of black velvet in a jewelry store. You know that.
You couldn't mess it up. It had to be that. Every joke had to be perfect.
Yeah. And they said, no, thanks. And I went, okay, it's personal. I quit. And my boyfriend said, what do you want to do? I said, I quit. I mean, I've been at this 12 years, the same cycle, the same money, the same people. Everyone's moved up but me. But I want to pay everyone who worked on the show. So I'm going to go back on the road for a year, pay everybody, and then we'll leave here. He said, oh, great, let's go up. Maybe I'll teach filmmaking in San Francisco. I was just ready to make wind chimes for fairs, you know. And there's a great saying on TV, if someone doesn't like you in TV, wait 5 minutes. Because they're all gone, and we're still
Totally.
here. I mean, every asshole who said no to me, he's gone, left no legacy.
dead.
Or dead.
Dead.
Yeah, hopefully painfully and slowly. And and so I was on the road for a year paying everyone, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, of course, these two great guys took over Showtime, Alan Sabinson and Peter Chernin, who has taken over the world since, Peter Chernin. And they said, oh, my God. And that's what happens. Younger,
Wow.
hipper guys come in and catch up to you. So then I got 4 specials from them. But, you know, the expectations were, you didn't want me. I paid for this. I own it. And now I own all my shows.
Now I own it.
You're not hiring me. You're licensing my product. So that's why I just put the box set out, because I own all my shows. And they haven't been on YouTube for, 30 years.
Right.
And I watched them and I went, I could give Eliza this show.
Yeah.
Being young and single and dating and trying to figure it out. She could do this show verbatim today and people would love it. It's just so,
It's
this
so
stuff.
it's still so relevant.
Yeah. So I named it Timeless because this stuff is timeless.
It's timeless.
Sad for the political stuff on there. I could have written it today.
Yeah.
The guns, the politics, the sexual
that
inequality.
eerie?
It's
Yeah.
the same. So it made me realize it's not voting that changes it as much as running. And I really hope people who are coming up now in their lives consider running.
Right.
Can you imagine a government where there were actually more women than men in the House and Senate?
No.
Well, let's try.
Let's
and
try.
Run if you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. When I was reading the New York Times article, there was, they kind of gave some background about a reputation, an alleged reputation, or she was difficult. Which
Oh,
I
you
always
hear that.
I always cringe
It's
when
how
I
they
hear
shut
that.
you down. I
I'm
cringe,
difficult.
too.
Why? Because I didn't blow you
Yeah.
the second I walked in.
Yeah, you're difficult because you have a vision of what you want to be.
There's that. And so I was reading it, and it's so interesting. I remember reading that. I remember feeling the same way when I watched the Joan Rivers documentary, and I remember feeling the same way when I watched a little bit of Gary Shandling stand up, and I was like, it was this humbling moment where I was like, oh my God, like it's the same thing I feel. It's the same thing. And it's good to know you're not so special that these emotions and experiences are only yours. But
they're filtered through the specialist that is you.
Yeah. But yes, and it was just like, I guess it was comforting to know, like, oh, this bullshit is not personal.
Right.
They went through it too.
Of course.
They've experienced these things too, whatever it was. Even
Right.
if it's the jokes, the type of jokes, I'm like, oh, I would make a joke like that.
Right, exactly.
So
You ever
I
notice?
just-
Yes,
I
I
agree.
notice all the time.
Totally.
Mine was personal because I was first, and it was a million self-hating Jewish men running the business who hated their mothers.
Right.
And that's who, they're all married to blonde, gorgeous, women who, were very
Explain a little
docile.
bit about this to my Midwestern audience that doesn't understand this part of
They're
our culture.
just people when they grow up and hate themselves and hate their family. They try to be very other. And I mean, even with is it who just got Les Moonves, who just got thrown out of CBS for 1,000 years of rape, and now he's not getting his
That's my
120
autobiography,
million.
1,000 years of
1,000
rape.
years of rape, not in a bad way. Yes, in a very bad way. These guys, if they didn't want to screw you, if they didn't think you were, screwable
Yeah.
to them, I mean, if they didn't find you attractive that way, then you didn't work.
Yeah.
And, there was a million other guys who did find me sexy, and I did have a great life on the road, and luckily it was the years before we had to worry too much about things. So it was just they cast who they wanted to screw. And it was very hard. And they just hated the fact that I just kept talking, and I really didn't have an agenda. I just needed to make a living. I wasn't,
Just trying to make people laugh.
and make a living and try and make people
And
laugh
by the way-
and be alive and work.
If it wasn't funny, you wouldn't be making a living.
Exactly. My best line to sum it up, and it's so simple. I said, I'm just a human being trapped in a woman's body. That's the line that got everybody. I'm just a human. I have no agenda. I'm a human being. I
feel
happen
like
to look like this.
The trans community could appropriate that. Like, that's a perfect thing. Look, I'm just a human, and whatever's on the outside.
Exactly.
I think we forget that.
Exactly.
The next question, So this is kind of going back to what we were talking about because I'm doing a poor job at hosting in an order.
Oh, yeah, right.
Megan Lynn Witt says, do you think that comics who have become popular through YouTube or social media deserve the same amount of respect/credit that comics like yourself and others get? Meaning they didn't do the clubs and put in the grit work, etc. P.S. I love you.
Oh, well, she loves me. She doesn't know me. That's why.
She'll get there.
Yeah. Of course. If it's funny, the audience will tell you. So that's the criteria.
Even if it's in a comment section, they'll tell you. I think it's always such a... You sound so embittered to be like, they don't deserve it. Look,
That's not true. Everyone deserves it who's funny and put in the... I'm sorry, you were saying...
no, I think
Yeah.
if the market dictates...
Right.
So you can get up there, I
Right.
hate this comic, I hate this actress, this person. I'm like, people are still buying it, so someone must like it.
That's
Just
right.
like people will love and hate you. Do I respect all content creators? No. Some are garbage, and a lot of people have garbage taste.
And a lot of stand-ups who came through all that are garbage
Are
too.
garbage too. So as
It's-
long as you're as long as there's a market for it,
Yeah.
then you should. This is America. It's a free economy.
Exactly. I mean, as I said, the audience will tell you. If you're funny, it's going to be funny. and-
Also, it's apples to oranges. A YouTuber cannot get on stage and crush for like a thick hour, but that's not what they're supposed to do.
No, and
then
if they're working towards that,
then work
then
toward
they'll
it.
work toward it.
You will see a lot of people often do stand up as like, oh, I'll just do stand up now. And when you start really doing it, you'll see people don't want to hear you talk for more than a couple of minutes without the craft.
there's so many, exactly. There's so many stand-ups that I see. I mean, there's some great ones, of course, but there's a lot that it's just, I call it style over substance. They find there's a rhythm that's going on now, like, da-da, da-da, da-da,
Yeah.
da-da. And I go, my God, they can just say, I'm picking my shirts from the cleaners. And
Right.
here's the rhythm, but you don't know how to write.
What are you actually saying?
Yeah,
I
what
guess
are
they
you
have that in
saying?
music as
That's
well.
it. Yeah.
Where's
the little girly girl? Where's
Blanche
the
is
little
just
girl?
hoovering the floor.
Hi, Blanche. Hi, Blanche.
Speaking of work and the road,
Oh,
Rachel Mack says, what is your go-to wind down / relax routine routine you do when you are stressed or after a long day or perhaps being on the road?
well, the road is different than home.
Yeah.
But the road, I would just, finally come up and, I would do like 2-hour shows. So my feet, my
2
dogs were-
hours.
yeah. And I just did an evening with. So I wouldn't have to watch someone do half my act before I got on.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, in those days, people would just take your stuff, and it was a real problem. People would just take your stuff and go on and do it, or just talk about some of the same subjects enough in a bad way to.
Oh,
kill.
so I get it. So you didn't have an opener
I
then,
didn't
like
have
you just
any-
did all
yeah,
of it.
I just said, just bring me up.
Where'd you
and-
bring? Just bring your own opener and be like, don't do my shit.
Well, I'd rather do 2 hours, and it was an
There's that
evening
too.
with because it was fun.
1 2-hour show or two 2-hour shows?
2-hour shows
A night?
Yeah.
I
And then
honestly
sometimes
thought
people would stay over, and you'd have to so I would talk to them forever and just be funny. I emceed for years, so the crowd work is very easy for me.
I am sitting here. I'm like, I do an hour and it's so tight, and sometimes I go a little bit over, and I do 2 a night. 2-2-hour
Yeah,
shows.
but you have 4 specials. You could do
2-2-hour shows.
You could do that if you had
But
to
I
or
never-
wanted to.
Never even occurred to me to do 2
I
hours.
really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'd
have to
and
be doing it.
Well, I was started before cable, so I had nothing to go back to in the hotel room. It was like,
Right.
I'm going back to 2 channels, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to keep talking to you.
I'm
And
really
please,
lonely.
Please feel free to leave on the, if it's too much for you, you
Don't
can
make a
go.
noise.
I'm not going to bother you. but-
All right. So what do you?
So I'd get back. My feet were killing me, of course.
and you would wear heels, wouldn't you?
Well, then, yeah.
I've stopped.
Yeah,
I was like, I
stopped.
don't
You're-
care.
Yeah, I stopped. Yeah, I don't even wear shoes now. I just come out like Wilma Flintstone.
Someone get her a chair.
That's it.
Flintstone.
No, I would just completely. I never, I don't drink when I'm working.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consummate professional.
Do drink when I'm not, but I would stop a month
yeah.
before a tour. Because it really is a motor issue. I didn't want my tongue thick. I didn't want it to be cloudy. I wanted to think fast. I wanted to be agile,
Wow.
verbally. So I would just come back and I just turn on that TV and zone out till whenever. I mean, I wouldn't even watch. I would just flip the channels. It was like just being a zombie.
It's almost like your brain, like it just has to run.
It does. It has to just
And you
run
don't have to
out. Right.
run out like you're running. Like I always think of it like when you put a car up on blocks and like run the
Yeah,
odometer.
exactly. That's
And
it.
did
It
you
just
eat
has to...
on your bed? I do a lot of bed eating.
Well, not in hotels. Here's my favorite hotel line.
Yeah.
Remember when Mike Tyson was a while ago, you young folks, but Mike Tyson raped someone and went to jail for it and everything.
Sure,
But
we remember that.
Yeah, okay. I happen to like him very much now, but that, we all have a bad time or two. Anyway, so they are on the trial and they're testing everything for DNA because, he says he didn't rape anyone. This is my favorite line in the world, and it tells you all you need to know about the hotel room you're walking into. The expert said, well, yes, there was semen on the bedspread, but it wasn't Mr. Tyson's.
So that's where you were staying.
And I went, oh, no, I knew it. You walk. They don't change anything.
They don't change that top, the comforter, or that little...
Some Shriner came in for a convention the week before and bought porn, which he can't get at home.
That is so
I do
funny.
take a baggie with me, and the first thing I do is put the remote in it. And then I just do the remote through the baggie because that is, that's the
filthy.
porn. And now let's see with the news. So, and they're grabbing the remote. So that's.
Oh, my God.
So I don't eat in bed in hotels. No.
Okay, well, I'm a gross out. But I do that TV thing, and I watch
you're-
like American Greed. I watch these shows that are just easy to consume. I
and
watch
just
The
keep
Office
flipping.
with full commercial breaks on Comedy Central.
Oh, see, now I just flip the minute the commercial comes on and go to the next thing that doesn't have
Yeah.
a commercial. You could ask me what I saw. I wouldn't have an alibi. I have
Right.
no idea. But
Oh my
it is. It's a brain just boom. It's like running out and then.
Because people don't like I do meet and greets after. you
Yeah, I
know,
do too.
and that's for
Yeah.
sure. Of
That
course you
takes
do.
a lot of energy too.
It does, and something that always people like you do like 90 people sometimes.
That's a
It
lot.
takes an hour
And
sometimes.
everybody wants a picture, and you're the pony. So.
Well, I always call it a petting zoo.
Oh yeah, you're the.
And they
take a
come up-
picture on a pony.
Yeah, and they come up and they go, you must hate doing this. And I always say, no, this is built into your
Yeah,
ticket. You
that's
paid for
right.
this,
Yeah.
and this is part of the performance. And I'm not going to come out drunk, and I'm not going to.
Exactly. I'm not going to come out, put upon.
No,
I
you
like
paid
to,
for this.
Yeah, and I like that people want to know you.
Thank God, people.
What
if
if they
not for that,
didn't?
exactly.
That's our job. It's our job.
It's our job, and it's not like I'm so famous and have been so famous forever that I'm like,
That you're
ugh, these
bored.
people. I take very seriously that you paid for this little
It's
bit
your
of real
business.
estate,
That's right.
and you get a minute with me.
That's right. And look, I just take seriously that we get to make people happy, especially these days. There's,
Yeah.
Everybody wakes up with a big heavy safe on her chest now and feels like they
I
can't
feel.
breathe every day.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one little thing we do is we, make them forget it for a minute and make them happy. And I just want to say, as far as women being nice or not, if someone's really a dickhead, they were a dickhead before they made it. People who were
Yeah.
nice when they get nicer after they make it.
I
if
found
you just
that.
become more of who you are, who you were.
Successful
Fame doesn't
people
turn you into a dick.
Right.
You were one.
You had that chip.
Yeah.
I do think some people become a little bit more monstrous. I have seen that, but I do think, you meet some of these people that have been doing it forever and they're nice because they're like, I'm doing my art. I'm
And
happy.
Also, they're nice to you because they realize how great you are, and it's stunning to be able to appreciate someone new
thank
that we
you.
get to be entertained by.
That's a very evolved view. Thank you.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right wings, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code ELIZA for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code ELIZA at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, The new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Which brings us to our next question. Kitty_and_belly. Nope. Kitty_and_belly. Elayne, why
What's
did
with
you?
these underscores, really?
I just think people don't want to be found. Huh? I just think that's what it is.
Mine is Elayne Underwire Boosler.
Oh, I love a good underwire.
Good underwire.
You need it.
Yeah.
So many bra
Who
companies.
doesn't need it?
Smaller
need it.
boobs
Well,
don't need it.
Okay. Well,
But I don't
we're
know.
out.
The amount of bras are like, and no underwire. And I'm like, get
Yeah,
fucked.
it's like saying meat and not meat, but food and no nutrition.
Right. Like, what are we
need-
doing?
Yeah, give me a
Where's the
wire.
support? Kitty_and_belly. Why did you agree to do this interview? Also, by animal lover, we mean all animals or just cute dogs? Oh, that's a shitty question, Kitty Belly.
It's fine. I did the interview because A, I love you.
Thank
B,
you.
anytime I can spend with you, I love, because now that you're married and famous, I never get to see you anymore. We used to run into each other in
You came to my
town.
Christmas party one
I
year.
did.
I'm not having it this year, so it's not that you're not invited.
Thank you.
I'm just too tired.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
of
know.
course you know.
But I will always remember Blanche's dress at that party. I don't know what I wore and I don't know what you wore, but I know she had a red velvet dress on.
Still have it.
That was so
I love that.
beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
It was great. What was the second
The
part?
question by animal lover, do we mean all animals or just cute dogs?
Well, if you go to tailsofjoy.net, TAILS of joy.net, that is my nationwide nonprofit animal rescue. We've been running for 20 years. We rescue every kind of animal in the world. Dogs, cats, rats, bunnies, sea life, wildlife, big cats, primates. We've been fundraising for 20 years. We're all volunteer. No one gets a penny. So, and we have great stuff for sale for the holidays right now. Every penny, every dollar you spend goes directly to saving a life.
There's your
Nobody gets
answer.
paid. So it's all animals. And I love cute dogs.
You're like, except spiders.
Except what?
snakes.
No, we love. I mean, we really do. We do. Exotic small sanctuaries. There are snakes. There are rats.
Yeah, I don't know any animal lover group that's like, yeah, except for the ugly
I
ones.
know
That doesn't
right.
happen.
And we always have like dogs with one leg and no eye. And my husband said to me, "Are we ever going to have a real dog?" And I said,
real
"What do you
whole
mean?"
dog?
And he said, like a good-looking whole. I said, "No, we're not." He went, "Oh, okay." I said, "We're the
People
rest."
want those dogs,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's all right.
Kay Bester says, Elayne, such an amazing person. Ask her to demonstrate her backwards singing talent. Blew me away. I don't know about
Wow.
this.
I'm just dyslexic and dysgraphics, dysgraphia. So when I was growing up, I saw everything backwards. I write upside down and backwards. I can read anything on your, desk if I can see the print. This is like, what is that,
So
an
tiny.
8?
Yeah, right. I don't, it's
But
baby
yeah, so
handwriting.
I can sing backwards if you name a song. So I was speaking at a school. My friend begged me, and of course, within 2 minutes, the kids had enough of me. I mean, they didn't care. They were like 6th grade, and so I said, "Well, I can sing backwards. You want to start naming songs?" And I was there for an hour. They wouldn't. Don't leave.
Wait,
Because
so
I
how does
just-
this work? Are the words backwards or the like?
I actually reconfigure. So, like, someone would
This
say,
is a skill, not a detriment. Like dyslexia, it's like, oh, she's dyslexic, she can't move on. Dysgraphic, this is a superpower.
well, in a way, although I don't read a lot of books because it takes me a week to, read
Wow.
a chapter. It's just too hard. But yeah, I mean, it's just really hard. But, and then I speak French. So when I go to France, I'm seeing in French, then I'm seeing it backwards, then it has to translate to English.
Who
so I
has
know
the
what I'm-
time?
You don't. That's why
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I would have to go to France for a year for a week's vacation.
Oh my God.
No, it works. I'm used to it by now, but yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, you function.
So, yeah, some people, it's literary, irreratil backwards, which is, literary. They literally just say the letters, but like Elayne, so it would be Yale.
Right.
But people who are, do it literally, they go Yale. And I don't do that. I just like Eliza would be Azila.
Right.
The best word backwards that I love. I'll just say it backwards and then you can tell me what it is.
Okay.
Nasal booper.
Oh, I want to know this so bad. Hold on. Nasal.
Nasal booper.
Responsible?
Republican.
Republican. Oh.
Nasal booper. Democrats are Tarsomed. It's not as much fun.
Wait, wouldn't it be Kill Booper?
Well, that's if you're going to do it that way. It's
That's
how
how
you
I would do
sound
it.
letters out. Yeah.
What was
See,
he-
you're in trouble already. You're difficult.
I'm a different kind of
Slufficid.
dysgraphic. Slufficid.
Slufficid.
Is that trouble?
difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah, trouble is elbort.
So if I just say a word, you can do it?
I think so.
Okay, like Wondery. Sunset
Eared
Studio.
now.
What is it?
Eared now. Studio is oidoots.
This is so crazy.
But I can sing. Want the
No,
Star
I do-
Spangled Banner?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yes, knack uoi is. I hate snwad, il wraith a jill, ta os il dwarp, ew. So proudly we what? So proudly we
Wave.
devor, ta eight, twilight, the jillut, tal gnim melg. Gleaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can, pretty much any song.
Oh my
So
God.
they just yelled out songs for an hour and I sang backwards to them. It's the best show they ever had.
It sounds like you're possessed, but also German.
It sounds definitely like a foreign language, German or Polish maybe. Wondery Sunset Studio. Oidut Testnus Irdnau.
This is bananas.
Sananab.
Synanab. You can just do it. You
Yeah.
can see it backwards.
Yeah, it's first. I see it first. I have to go the other way. That's what's trouble.
Oh my God. I want to do. Give me another word, Scott. Emily. I can't think of a word.
I'm wondering if we had this. If I took it and then reversed what you were saying, have you ever
It
had
would
a fact
not
check
come
like
out that way because I reconfigured the sounds to what a new word would sound like if you spelled it like that. For Elayne to come out right backwards, I'd have to go, Elayne Lee. And that's not how I do it because
Right.
I put the back E on as a letter, which is silent when you're going
get that.
forward. So it wouldn't sound, you might get a bit of it, but you wouldn't get it
It'd be
perfectly.
oddly pronounced.
full
kind of.
language.
Well,
Exactly.
my mind's still blown.
If you
either
did
way, so-
can and I said knack, then you'd get can. But
Can you say ask Eliza anything? Can you do ask? Can we do a promo?
backwards,
Yeah.
sure.
Can you say hi? I'm Elayne Boosler.
I, my, and yell.
Wait, I have to go first, otherwise it'll just sound
Oh,
insane.
good.
I'll just go. Hi, I'm Elayne Boosler,
I, my, and Yale Relsub.
and you're listening to Ask Eliza Anything.
Dna Roy Gnenetsil at Kasa Azili Gnihitana.
It sounds like Welsh. If
Have
you've
you ever
ever
gone
heard
to
it's
a Star
exactly.
Trek convention? Because you could clean up with that.
Could
I
I?
feel like.
We'll
Oh.
talk about it later. I could use some money.
That's crazy.
Ezark.
Ezark. It's Ezark. What's Blanche?
Hicknaub.
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 So small.
And you know what's a word I just don't like, but I see it first anyway? Our market, Ralph's, it's Splar.
Splar.
Not very attractive.
It's in a Russian
Splar.
neighborhood.
Yes, Russian market.
Splar. Oh my
Splar.
God. Okay,
Splar
well,
Techram. Ralph's
it
market.
does sound. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well,
This
now that we've
person-
lost everyone.
No. People have pulled over their cars. They're turning up their iPods. Amanda underscore. I don't want to leave that.
Amanda,
Well, here's the interesting. It's Amanda underscore Rozsavolgi, but maybe you say her last name backward.
but it sounded backward already.
I did.
My God, maybe it'll sound different. That's a hard one. Rosavolgi. Ilglovazor.
There you go. Either way, sure.
Yeah, either
Ilglovazor.
way.
If you were a contestant on Chopped, which 3 ingredients would you least want to see in your basket?
Well, I don't eat meat and I don't eat birds, so I'd sure hate to see any meat or birds.
A meaty bird.
A meaty bird, and then the third one, certainly a little piggy. I love them so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no pork, no
No
piggy,
piggies,
no live
no
animals.
cows, no winged
Oh, that was too
creatures.
easy. Yeah, she's an animal. She doesn't eat meat.
No.
Oh, now I don't. My answer would be like, no, well, sugar's hard to do. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to see wool.
I don't want to say. I don't want
Yeah,
any
wool,
animal.
and a shoe. I wouldn't want a shoe in there because I don't know what to do with it.
You know what I wouldn't want, just because I find it annoying? I don't dislike the taste of cilantro. Like some people have a thing where.
It ruins everything.
See, I like cilantro.
Do you?
But because of this kind of conversation with the
Yeah.
judges,
Oh.
I wouldn't want. Well, I eat it tastes like soap, so I would just spare me the diatribe. Yeah.
Ortnalic.
What's that?
Cilantro.
Ortnalic.
Ortnalic. Cilantro and dill. Dill has to be very
I
specific.
don't like dill.
I don't
It's got to
either.
be specific.
Yeah, and that grass, lemongrass, that's the worst.
Oh, too much lemongrass.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So none of these herbs.
No.
Stephanie D 8012 says, since we're coming up on the new year, which she put as an interrogative sentence, since we're coming up on the new year, what is your New Year's resolution since most people don't stick to them? In what area of life do you want to grow or change? Do you have a goal for 2019? And what were the most important things you learned this year? Thank you so much.
Wow, your listeners are fantastic.
I got a lot of questions.
Where do you get like people who think and want to know things? I haven't run into that many lately.
A lack of dick jokes, I find, brings the intelligent ones to the yard.
Thank you for the questions.
Yeah.
They're fabulous.
We'll take it in pieces.
Okay, well, my New Year's resolution is to gain 50 more pounds because I like to keep my resolutions, and I know that's coming. So that's a success. I've done it every year, and I'm way up to like 200. So
You have a bit
I'm so
about
excited.
like plus size clothing being an animal print.
Yeah, and it's always animal prints.
You're absolutely right. What is that?
Always animal prints. They don't know we're fat. We're not blind.
Oh, my
and
God.
I say fat because it's fat. And someone said, you're fat shaming. I said,
Oh my God! First of all, you're saying
First
it
of all,
about
it's
yourself.
Me. I'm allowed to talk about myself. And
Yes.
I'm fat shaming. I want my fat to get so ashamed. I want to humiliate it so it jumps off my body and onto
Cowards.
yours. I
Oh
want
my
it to
God.
jump on you.
That's what I wish for you, person trying to shame
Thank
me.
you.
That's
right.
hilarious.
And now I've heard plus size is politically incorrect. You can't say plus.
What are you supposed to say?
Woman. Woman.
That's
They're
the s-
woman sizes. But I would say it like this. They're, whoa, man!
Oh my God. See, this is a comic, folks. She's not shying away from it. And the most important thing, and I always say this to people, it's your experience.
It's about me. I'm not calling someone else heavy. And it is animal prints, and everyone in this country has a gun, and I'm going to get shot running for a bus. It needs to be talked about.
You're
Ted
gonna- you're gonna
Nugent's
run
gonna
for the
kill
bus?
me and put my head in his tent.
Oh, my
I
God.
run for buses in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Of course.
I was like, in LA?
I just got back, and I was there for a month and a half.
It's a very different animal, LA
Yeah.
versus New York bus. You're right about the animal print. Fat or thin,
Well,
what are
animal
we doing
prints,
with
like
animal
some
print?
zebra broke off from the herd. Like, why do they think we want to look like a leopard if we're big?
Right. Or
An
or at all.
actual animal.
An actual.
Yeah.
Why do I look like?
Or
Also,
they put the right.
You know what won't ever work for me is giraffe print. It's
Well,
not hot.
Yeah. No.
Cheetah's
no.
like Peg Bundy, but you can't make
Well,
giraffe print. work.
yeah, but she had the whole thing to go with it, the red hair and the teeth.
But it was like a trashy, sexy
yeah,
look. But
it's the trailer park
but-
look.
but
Reno
giraffe.
divorcee, we like to call it.
Reno divorcee.
Yeah, sometimes I'll wear a lipstick that's too bright, and Bill will go, "Oh, you going to Reno?"
You're going to Reno. You know what?
Probably today.
And I'll
would
be in Reno this year, so please come see me. So that's the question is. I mean,
And
you're
what did I
saying-
learn this year?
I guessed. I don't.
I
Well,
learned there's no bottom to people being willfully ignorant. That's why I
Ignorant.
loved what you said. Ignorance is a choice when you
Yeah.
get older.
as you get older, yeah. Thank you.
When you put things right in front of people, you go, "Okay, here's a blue ball," and they go, "No, it's not." And you go, "Okay, so
Climate change isn't real.
yeah,
Right.
I just really thought, we don't need these, right?
No, you don't have to do
Oh,
it.
okay. I just because I sound echoey, I
I'll
might
take
be
mine off, too.
yelling. Okay, we just took off our bras. I feel so much better. I can breathe now. Oh, good. I took him out to see the show. So, I always thought, because you and I, what is our gift? Gab, right?
Right.
Our gift is speaking and making good, a good argument for something.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well, and I can listen too. But when it's just gibberish and fake, and I hate the word fake now, but when you
Yeah.
go, okay, so here's a blue pen. No, it's not. And you go, there's no reason to stand here and have a conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
I always thought everyone could reach each other at some level, and now I know you can't.
I think they can. I really think what I've learned out of this shitstorm of this last year is that people really do want to be spoken to like humans and communicated with. And I think when I wrote this, I came up with a thought that I wrote down, but it's the idea that when you don't feel listened to, it's really hard to listen. So I think a lot of people, they're angry and they're beating their drums, and it's hard to hear someone else's agenda when you feel yours hasn't been heard.
Well, that's
If we
total
could just have a
sense.
conversation.
Yeah, but that's the
can't.
hard part. And people, look, I don't think, anyone who's totally sure of something is an idiot, because everything changes all the time.
All comics are idiots.
All comics are idiots,
Right.
and all people who say, I'm the one, I know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
So when I'm talking
knows
to someone,
anything.
I'm not trying to bring them to my point of view. I don't say my point of view is right.
Yeah.
And it's also changes. But just the fact that if I say this is a blue pen and you say it's not, what's the point?
What's
it's
the
just,
point? Well, if we're not learning anything, what's the
If
point?
you just can't, see what's in front of you and then take it from there.
So that's what you learned in 2018.
I think so. I learned that there's actually a limit to how much you can, communicate with people, and I never thought there was a limit before.
People's density knows no depth.
Yeah, in 46 years, or their willful stubbornness.
Yeah.
And I'm always open. And I change my, I'm always ready to learn. I
Right.
don't understand why you don't want to learn or,
It's scary.
well,
I mean, I agree.
and I understand. I agree with you. A lot of people have not been listened to in many ways, and so they kind of, went crazy. And I get it, and I understand. But the people who did that are the ones who are going to suffer the most if these policies go through. And I'm fine, you're fine, and they go, ha ha, we screwed the coastal elites. I go, I'm fine. I'm going
Yeah.
to be fine, but I know it's going to happen in the middle.
It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, they'd rather see us die and die too. And I'm going, it has nothing to do with us or me. Plus, you and I traverse the country. It's not like we're coastal elites. I spend more time in Mississippi and Alabama than I have in Los Angeles.
Really?
Well, yes, because I was on the road for 46 years.
Yeah. There's that, and it's also
Hardly in LA.
nobody likes to be painted with these broad strokes, and it's like just
Exactly.
because I live in LA doesn't mean I don't understand.
Yeah, I live in LA and New York, so I'm a double offender.
Double coastal
I
elite.
know.
I don't believe in New
I
Year's
love
resolutions
elite.
personally. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of like, if you want to do something, just do it. If you want to eat healthy, just start tomorrow or
Yeah,
like
make a New
after
Year's
this last
resolution
bite.
in August.
Yeah, I don't believe in it. And so I don't have them. I think that it's just to sell more shit to people, like New Year's resolution notebooks.
Well,
and
it's always
mugs.
like a new beginning, so you try and set good goals for the year.
Good
That's
intentions.
fine. Good intentions.
But I
It's
think
good to take stock.
I think people break resolutions because they bite off more than they can chew. Like that's why
sure.
diets fail and things like that. So small steps. And I always kind of ask myself at the end of the day, I'm like, do I feel like I'm a little bit better of a person than I was yesterday?
That's excellent.
So I just learned one thing. And I usually, I deeply cried today on my kitchen floor.
Why?
Just like things get to you. But,
And you
sometimes
just got it out that way?
I did.
Oh.
And I was like,
Did Blanche get scared?
she didn't even blink.
Wow.
She was like,
She's
whatever.
got it together.
Who's feeding me?
Wow.
Elizabeth. Oh, yeah.
No. What's your mission statement as a comedian?
My mission statement.
I mean, for your life, what's like when you're done? I don't mean like an epitaph, but I just mean what when you go on at night, because I've asked people this, and I'm always amazed at the different answers. When you go on, like, what is it that you want? What is it? What do you want? What do you want at the end of the week? What do you want at the end of the month? What do you want at the end
It's
of the
changed, and I think it should always continue to change. Because when you start, like, I just want people to laugh, and then like a lot of times there's ego involved, and of course we have egos. And I always want to show that I'm smart. And not because anyone's ever called me stupid, just because it's so easy to be like, it's so easy to have a low bar set. And then my comedy evolved in this thing where women started feeling related to. And that kind of became this motivation. I was like, well, I have to stand up for them while serving men and women.
Exactly. That's the job.
Like a bipartisan serving. So
It's called humanity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we all go through is the same for men and women.
It absolutely is. It's like, how do you want to feel versus what do you want people to take away?
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that people will leave feeling seen because I think in my life, what I strive for is to be seen, rooted in not being seen by this teacher or your father or whatever.
Right,
We all have that
right.
thing.
We all do.
At the end of the day, I'm always trying to make my dad laugh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because you like him or you don't like him?
I love my dad, but it's still like, that's the,
You
like,
think you still have to prove things to him?
not even, but just in a weird, like, that's the one. Like,
Wow.
you know how you have that one friend, you're like, I just want to make that friend laugh.
Wow, that's great.
So I think it's a combination of wanting to feel, I want the audience to leave feeling understood, seen, and I want
Heard.
them to think, and heard through me talking. And I want them to think, fuck, that was smart and funny.
That's so good.
What about you?
Mine is just I want people to leave feeling better than they came in.
That was so much encapsulates such a simpler
But
idea.
it's everything you're saying. I just, they
It's all the same.
Go through a week of crap at work and getting pooped on and everything, and
Yeah.
then they take a shower and get dressed and pay a sitter to come out
Yeah.
for you.
I say this. See, everything's been done before.
It's not, but it's just because we're two human beings who have good hearts
we
that
get
want to
it.
do this.
People,
Yeah.
I get so frustrated when I see comics that it's like, oh, they came out. I've heard horror stories. She came out, she did 20 minutes. She came out, he came out, he did a half an hour, he left, he was rude.
Do you know what people went through to get there? And the one person you look at for the whole show because you know he's hating you and not having a good time is the first person to run up
Yes.
to you after the show and say, I loved it. This was so great. You can never judge what's going on out there.
She's
Leave
talking
them
about,
alone.
just for those of you that don't perform, there's always, for comics, always the one guy that didn't laugh you don't like, but there's always someone in your front row that just stares at you.
Right.
And there's that moment where you're like, do I have to kick this guy out?
Right.
But if you just give him a second, they will come up after and be like, I had the
They're
best
the
time.
ones that, because they're listening so hard and they're so
Intently, yeah.
amazed that they loved it.
What's the old expression? You having fun? Tell your face, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I've stopped picking on, because in the old days you pick on people because you're new and you don't know what to do.
don't know.
And now I go, that's the guy who's going to come up. He's going to be the first guy to say he loved it. And
Or-
it's always true.
It's so true. Or because I'm so mad at them during it, and then they're like, "Oh my god, it was great." It's funny we're talking about this because I was at the Improv last night, and we had there was a comic on stage, and he had a heckler, as one does. But the heckler was awful, and he got on the stage. The comic pushed him off.
Got on this
Oh,
stage?
it was insane.
Who let that happen?
Right.
That doesn't.
Nobody.
You don't get to run on the field at Shea Stadium.
He was
Well,
right
it's
at
gone.
at the front.
But
He
you
was-
don't get to go
You
up.
don't. And it was like a server that escorted him out. It was the whole thing. And I was kind of watching this. And I started talking to Joe Rogan in the hallway about how it becomes a skill that you really can't master until about 10 years in or more, and like a lot of road work, differentiating between someone who is drunk and an asshole versus someone who maybe is mentally ill or something is happening. Because your instinct is to be like, hey, what is this? You roll in your eyes and it's like, oh, they're having a seizure.
Right.
And you start to learn like to separate the humanity from the assholes.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe said this random thing that was such a him thing to say, but we were talking about people getting on stage when you're talking, which has happened to all of us before. Like a drunk person wanders
Yeah.
up. He goes, this guy walked up to me and just started mumbling something about, this is a simulation. And Joe's like, and I, of course, clocked that as, and now as women, I would be like, get off the stage, somebody get up here. But he's a big guy. He goes, so I just held him and wouldn't let him go until and I was like, only
Right.
you would think like, let me just hold him until he's safe.
Yeah.
Because you have
That's
as a man, he
beautiful.
has the luxury of,
Yes.
I'm like, you can't touch my body.
Yeah.
But
But that's a beautiful thing for and it just comes from the human. That's the thing. Are you up there for your humanity to be a human being to other human beings,
Right.
or are you up there for what $50 and to crap on people?
And by the way, there
And you
are
can see
comics
it.
and they're jokes, like it's like Anthony Jeselnik, like super funny, but those are not jokes that are going to make you feel good. They're there to say some hot truths that are like, oh, that was prickly, but that's his shtick. So
But even
everyone,
hot truths can make you feel better when you leave because you go, I knew that.
I knew I was
knew
right.
it, and I know I'm not crazy. And yes,
we're-
that does happen. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go up there and do Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
You can be,
Backward.
Backward. Irie-arp Prairie. But
Irie-arp Prairie.
But Sam Kinison, I mean, he'd go up there, and there wasn't love in this guy's heart, but it was the funniest show you ever saw, and you left feeling
you
better
feel good.
just because you laughed so hard. And there was truth in there, so
It's the
it
truth
was hilarious.
that comforts us, I think. Just that moment
Well,
of being like,
it's-
oh, I'm not crazy.
Exactly. The first time I ever did the joke of eating out of the garbage in 1984.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 76.
Wow.
Yes, Sex and the City took it much later.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It was throwing the cake out and go, I try not to eat the cake the next day. I throw it in the garbage and then I wake up and I have breakfast right out of the garbage.
Miranda
Yeah.
ate the cake.
Took the
I
whole
did
bit.
it last week.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Of
course.
And I said, I'm taking the cake out and go, thank God I didn't take this out to the big can last
No,
night.
I can still have it.
Yeah, but the point is, I wrote that joke in 76. I was afraid to do it because I thought, what if I'm just this animal who eats out of my garbage and they're just silent and look at me like you're
Absolutely.
disgusting? And I finally got the courage to do that joke that night. And they went crazy and he went, oh my God, I'm a human being. They're letting me know that, because I had I
Yes.
was raised by the Taliban in Brooklyn. I never talk about it. No one knows anything about my past. I'm the only one you don't know anything about
Okay.
who's known. And literally I went, oh my God, it's okay. So it was for me.
Yeah.
The audience spelled water in my hand.
Yeah.
It was so great
It's a Miracle Worker reference for those of you that don't know.
Sorry.
It's
Made me a person.
bathing in the cleansing waters of validation.
It's
That is
true.
what laughter is.
That's
it's me letting you
beautiful.
know I acknowledge that and I get it. So here's a question. These are some questions only you can answer. The genial harpy says, "Love Elayne." Downer question, but with the passing of Harry Anderson this year, was curious if she could reflect on her experience on Night Court.
Well, it broke my heart when he died. And I have to say that the show was one of the most genius shows that have ever been on. Reinhold Wiege, who wrote every episode and created it and just, wrote. I mean, he was a genius. Unfortunately, he's gone too. And you'd go to that show and everyone was friendly. Everyone was kind. And I go way back with Marsha Warfield anyway. We were at comics together in the 70s at the Comedy Store. We used to do tours together.
Right.
So it was just a joy to be there. And the thing that's fascinating is that Bull, the guy who played Bull, and he was like this 6'7", and everyone, he's so beloved by the public. He's everyone's favorite. He was the meanest person I ever met in my life, treated me so badly, and the others just kind of looked away, and I realized, they can't get involved in this because this is a team that has to work together.
Yeah.
But Marcia took me aside and said, it's okay. He does this to every guest we have. It's just, so all my scenes with him, I'm trying my hardest, and I'm playing a blind woman, so I'm at a disadvantage to begin with on Night Court. And he just says in front of everyone, is that the way she's going to act? Because if she thinks that's acting, I'm not doing these scenes with her. I'm out of here.
What a piece of shit.
Right. So everyone just went, okay, they knew it wasn't me. Anyway, I thought, oh my God. So what I did to get even, we filmed the show. It was a very successful show. I was invited back for the character. But what I did, we finished on the Friday night. On Monday, when I knew they had the table read and everyone would be around in the room, I sent 5 dozen long stem red roses for like $1,000 to him with a card that said, thank you so much for being so welcoming to me on your show.
Ooh. And he got them in front of everyone?
In front of everyone,
What'd he
and
do?
everyone looked at the card, and I asked Marcia what he did, and she said, he just looked down and walked out for a few minutes.
Kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
But also, fuck him.
yeah.
Not really kindness, is it?
Well, kill him with kindness.
Kill him with $1,000.
Yeah. And then I came back, and he was a little better. I came back to do another episode.
You showed him you were a person, and you were like,
it's just like, that's not the way to treat people.
I went on The View, and Whoopi Goldberg ignored me. She wouldn't look at me. I was a guest host. And she didn't introduce me.
I'm going to stay out of this one, but
I'm
just
saying,
say,
yeah.
It's not you, baby.
But it really hurt my feelings, and it was one of those moments.
You know why it shouldn't? Because it's not about you.
Right.
All right, that's all.
I was just trying to say, I had
Not
that story
about
too.
you.
Everything's about me. And I'll meet her again one day, and I'm sure she'll be fine.
No, she won't.
Wait, okay, Rabbit. One more question. Alex D. Jones. What would y'all, and you can answer this because my answer we all know is Frasier. What would y'all consider the greatest TV show to date?
Oh, gosh. Howdy doody.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's the answer?
That's it.
Why?
Because it was the best. I was 3 years old, and it took me out of the hell I was in.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was a puppet, and everybody was friendly. Captain Kangaroo, you can add that to the list.
Wow.
Howdy Doody and Captain Kangaroo and Bozo the Clown.
Wow, we got to do a whole episode where I pry out of you your upbringing.
You never will.
Okay,
No,
all right.
nobody knows a
She
thing.
didn't blink when she looked at me.
I just told you I was raised by the Taliban in Brooklyn. You can figure
Even
it out.
before it was in.
Yeah,
Even before Brooklyn was
They
in.
started the Taliban. Nobody even knew.
It's
yeah,
out of
the
a borough.
real Brooklyn, not the Brooklyn that's been.
You hear that, folks?
Yeah,
You hipsters?
I actually bought a T-shirt in Brooklyn 2 years ago that said "You ruined Brooklyn." Yeah, you.
Whoa, that's so aggressive.
I know.
This one I have to ask because this is so perfect for you. And you guys had so many great questions. But the
Am I
nature of
going
the
to
show.
get a green card after this?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I hope so.
Bisquiat. Do that one backward.
Bisquiat, Tioxib.
This is crazy.
Tioxib.
Your thoughts on Carol Burnett as an underappreciated female comic icon? Also, what comedians, artists, ideas, relatives at all influenced you?
I'm sorry, the second part was
What? Who influenced you? I hate that question personally.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, first of all, Carol Burnett is not underrated and
Yeah,
undersung.
I don't know-
She is cherished and celebrated for the talent that she is.
Negates the question. She's
which
not
is-
underappreciated.
Yeah, everyone know. I mean, she really is honored and beloved.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because well deserved, as
Yeah.
we all know. Who influenced me? I would say Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, and Lily Tomlin. Now, when I say influence, it doesn't mean that I tried to be them or
No.
could get near anything, but the influence in the sense of that's how great one can be. If you get halfway there, you'll be lucky.
I got goosebumps on that.
Really?
Reach for the stars. What is it? Reach for the stars. If you fail, you're in the stars.
Yeah.
Or something.
Reach for the moon. If you fail, you're in the
Astra
stars.
per ad astra
Yeah,
something.
there you go.
When you're, let me ask you. Okay, we're gonna go off on a fun one. Do we have no? What?
We don't have time for fun?
We don't have time for fun.
No fun. Time for fun?
Oh man.
Oh man! What if we talk really fast? Let's talk really fast about the fun. Just
There's
say
so
it. We'll
many
talk
good
really
ones.
fast about the fun.
I gotta get better at hosting. Okay, you know what? Last one, real quick. Dax is a name. Elayne, how was your time on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? I love that show so much. Also thoughts on working with Rachel Does Stuff in general.
Okay.
Rachel Bloom.
Okay. They were Nazis. They were horrible. I never want to see them again. I hope they all die.
Wait, whoa, slow down. Do it again.
It was the greatest show in the world.
Oh
They're
my
the
God, I
sweetest
thought-
people on earth. I love them. They couldn't have been nicer to me.
Yeah.
They were funny. That it was a 12-hour day shoot.
Done.
Anyone gets mad
Right.
after 10 hours and testy, and they never did. The guys doing the crew bring you slippers so your feet don't hurt because everyone's dressed up for the scene. I feel so sad that they wrote me in as me, so I can't go back because it's not a character.
Right.
But I love them, and I love the show. It was such a treat to be on.
And Rachel, I've only heard good
Rachel
things.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever met anyone less concerned with the outside of any. It's just like she's so deep. And she's so comfortable in her skin. That's what I envy.
That's nice.
Because I'm so uncomfortable. She's so comfortable in being Rachel. It was a joy and a learning experience,
There
even
you
at
go.
this age. Yeah.
Not the answer we were hoping for. We liked the first one with
Take
the
the
Nazis.
answer and then cut off the end, and
We
then
will.
you'll ruin my career.
That's it's a gotcha
just
show.
cut off the end. You got me.
You got her. All right, we're gonna go to Top of the Cob, which in backward language is.
Bag ahet fo pat.
Oh, it sounds like we're in Braveheart.
Bag ahet fo pat.
Bag a head full puck.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Let's start with your bottom of the cob.
What I don't like.
Yes.
Okay. I don't like people who say, I'm so glad you're in my life. It's like, wait, you were in your life? I thought we were in my life. It's like I'm an extra in their life. Like they walk out of the room. I don't exist anymore.
Self-important.
You're in my life? Can't it just be we're in life together?
That is an insane thing to take umbrage with.
You're in my life. So you walk out, I'm an extra.
Oh, you're such a comic.
I hate it.
Like what? I'm opening for you?
Yeah.
It's my
I'm in
life.
your life? I thought you were in my life.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I don't like it.
Can the two exist mutually exclusive?
I don't know.
You will never know.
We won't.
That's like a hand
But
clapping.
I'm very glad you're in my life, Eliza.
happy to be an extra.
No,
happy to
you're
be
not.
a walk-on.
No.
My bottom of the cob are the colors assigned, because this is our last podcast before the new year, colors assigned to New Year's Eve. I don't think white people look good in silver, and everything New Year's Eve is like pewter and silver, and I just don't like that. You have to have sparkly top and a stupid top hat, and it's like this weird Great Gatsby sort of, everything is tinsely. I don't like it. It's the only time of year where like silver and black are the assigned colors.
I love it. I'm the most shallow with no taste, Reno divorcee dressing person you'll ever
Hilarious.
meet.
Well-
I can't put enough glitter on myself for the holidays.
Glitter I can get on board with.
Okay.
And what's your top of the cob?
What I love? I love 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
Go on.
That's it. It's the magic hour, I think.
Is it?
I
For
always
what?
want for everything. Half the people are sleeping and the other half are getting up to make the croissants that they're going to have in a few hours. And I used to walk home from hostessing at the Improv, and 9th Avenue in Hell's Kitchen was dangerous at 4 a.m. And I'd see the black guys baking croissants in the French place and, with the jazz on and the papers were being dropped off and a little teeny bit of light was sticking
just
out.
waking up.
It was just, but also also going to sleep. I mean, it's not dawn. It's not 5 o'clock. 4 is when I go to bed anyway. So
Yeah.
it's shutting down. It's starting over. And to me, it's just this. It's the hour that makes you a poet.
Passing. Like the
It
city's
is.
waking up as you're shutting down.
Exactly.
I
They're
like
reaching
that.
out to shut their alarm clock, and I'm setting mine.
Do you know what? I love that I'm connecting with you on so many things. It's not my 4 a.m. I love that you said that. It is so poetic. Because when I fly out of LA, when I go on the road,
Yes.
I'm leaving the city as it's starting to wake up, and I look
Yes.
out of the plane, and
Don't
I'm
you
like,
love
"You guys
that?
just woke up, but I'm
I
gone."
never got bored in 46
Oh, I love
years
that.
of flying and traveling. And
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so heard. My top of the cob, and it's funny that you said 4 a.m. because mine is also has to do with time. My top of the cob, and this is thematic because we're coming into the new year, is when we say 1 for the New Year's Eve countdown. Because it's that last second where you're like, did I shut the garage door? Like it's that last, and it's like your last moment in something
in
that's
that
gone.
part of your life.
So
Yeah.
happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To all the Ask Eliza Anything listeners, I want to plug your talesofjoy.net, total nonprofit, helps all the animals, not just the pretty
in
ones.
your area. You can, designate if you buy something or donate. You can tell us which shelter you want us to donate to.
She's very passionate about it. It's not just an act. It's not for anything. As
20
long as I've
years.
known this woman
Yeah.
and longer, she's been passionate about this and animals. Elayne Boosler on Twitter.
And the new box set.
And the new box set with all of her hour specials.
All of my hour specials, well, most of my hour specials, and a brand new hour and 15-minute CD.
and
So
they can
it's-
get that on Amazon.
Yeah, 5 hours of comedy. It's called Elayne Boosler Timeless. It's only $21, and we'll donate $25 to any rescue you want when you buy it.
So everyone's winning here, you guys.
It's a win, 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 and a woof.
And a woof. What's woof backwards?
And a woof. Foo.
foo. Elayne Boosler, thank you so much for
Thank
being on
you
my podcast.
so much, Eliza. I love you so much. I'm so glad I got to visit with you.
Thank you for being in my life.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.